Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is the second day here at the PDAC in Toronto. I'm here today with Greg Johnson. He's the chairman of two companies, Metallic Minerals and Group 10 Metals. And both companies are pretty interesting tuna exploration companies, and Greg has been an extremely successful entrepreneur in the past 20 years, and he will tell us a little bit more about what's behind both companies, what's behind the recent news that they put both company under one umbrella to share offices, to share geologists, knowledge, know-how, and a lot of other aspects to keep the overhead low. And that's a great idea and a good strategy to move forward as a tuna company. And I would like to know more about what is really behind both companies and the whole strategy. Hi Greg, good morning to you. How about the second day here at PDAC and what's going on with the companies, and how do you feel today?
It's good. It's been a very busy event. Lots of interest in the sector, which is encouraging. I think it reinforces that we're at the beginnings of a new bull market for the metals, and we're seeing a lot of interest in our two companies.
That's what we would like to see, a bull market that we are waiting for the last couple of years. So let's talk about the recent news you have had on this metallic group.
Yeah, so we've done something kind of innovative. We've brought two companies together in the sense that it's a collaboration. They're two independent companies, but they have very similar business approaches to the exploration industry, and we've put them under a single umbrella. So that means we can have reduced costs to run the two companies. We can have a deeper technical team, share those resources among the companies, really be able to collaborate and cross-pollinate, if you will. Our team has deep expertise in silver, which Metallic Minerals is brown fields, meaning it's next to existing production silver, very high grade in the Yukon. And our Group 10 company has very high grade platinum next to one of the only non-South African or Russian platinum producers. So
you have two great companies with a lot of USPs, I would call it. So let's go into more detail. What's really behind Metallic? What is the real equity story? I always want to know the equity story, because our investor community should understand the difference between company A and B. And I think the AXINO clients are pretty outstanding as we speak, but I would like to get that translated to our investor community. If you could really go into a little bit more details for Metallic, I would appreciate.
Yeah, so Metallic Minerals was our first company in the group, and it, as I said, is brownfields silver exploration in the famous Keno Hill Silver District. So this has been one of the highest grade producers in the world. Produced over 200 million ounces of silver historically, and today there's about 100 million ounces of new resources. And yet, surprisingly, this district, because it's only been discovered in the last 100 years, is quite underexplored. And so there's tremendous opportunity in the eastern half of the district that we've acquired over the last 18 months to be able to find similar sized deposits on our side of the district. And we're quite excited. Last year was our very first exploration program in 2017. We went in there, we had 40 different targets to look at. We prioritized the top 12. We advanced those top 12, two of them to drill stage, and we in fact have two deposits that we're now drilling out resources, so we proved the concept. We have 5 new targets that we're going to drill for the first time in 2018 and keep expanding on the other 2 that we've demonstrated have the potential to make resources. So we'll have 7 targets drill ready for this season, so it's going to be a very exciting year for Keno. And that project has, as you know, very spectacular silver grades, over 1,000 gram per ton silver right at surface. Really exciting.
So that means you drill again this year and you will have a good news flow. How about the resource calculation, resource statement? Do you work on that already, or when can investors expect one?
Yeah, so in terms of a formal resource, I would say that we'll be drilling this year. We'll take that information as we finish up. We'll drill all through, starting probably in May or June into the fall, and then we'll take that information with our independent engineers and basically create a resource. So our target right now on Metallic would be to have a resource ready for early 2019 based on this year's drilling.
And what about infrastructure and your neighbors? Could you explain a little bit this as well?
Yeah, that's one of the things that really makes this an exciting district. We've got our next door neighbor is Alexco Resources. They're going back into production in Q4 of this year. They are the highest grade silver producer in the world, and they're in the top 10 in terms of level of silver production from their mine, with room to expand, particularly if they had more resources, which we might be able to help deliver and fast track into production. So it's a great area to work. That means there's roads, there's grid power, there's a port facility. All the infrastructure that we need to build a mine is already there on the project, and that's part of why this is a brownfields exploration.
It's always good to be in a good neighborhood, and that's what I thought is so important to understand, that Metallic has those advantages. Last question before we go over to Group 10. What can an investor expect? Can you give them a kind of an idea what potential you see there for the next 1 to 2 years in regard of Metallic, and what could be a business strategy going forward? Do you want to be a silver producer, or you want to explore and then share it with your neighbors if they have interest, or are you looking for a big partner?
Yeah, so I think what we're looking at, many of the people working on Metallic are former Nova Gold alumni. I'm one of the original co-founders of Nova Gold. So this is a team that has a demonstrated track record of discovery, of finding big deposits and advancing those. We want to focus in that area. That's where we think we can really create value, is through discovery at the drill bit. And so our team is focused on that. With an operator next door, if we find deposits, there's a really nice, simple process of handing those over when they get a bit more advanced and let them develop it. If you find something big enough, you got the potential for a standalone, and those are going to be of interest to any of the biggest silver producers. So I think we have kind of a two-track approach to business in the district. I could see us developing resources over the next couple of years, growing those, and either seeing those go through the mill next door, perhaps with some expansion to that mill, or even justifying development maybe by a large partner who might want to come in and build their own mine on site with all that infrastructure already being in place.
That's a very good outlook, but just one other question just came into my mind. How about that royalty gold business you have started a year ago? So what's going on there?
Yeah, so it's really a pretty innovative approach. It's similar to those early days at Nova Gold, where we had a sand and gravel business that was a revenue-generating business that helped us to be able to fund exploration. So we've done something similar in metallic minerals. We have acquired a large land position in the Klondike Gold District. This is highly prospective for alluvial gold, which is the gold in the gravel. It's right on trend with the biggest open pit alluvial producers in the Yukon, and this ground has been tightly held for, probably close to 2 decades. So we've secured that. We already have 2 operators in. They did test mining last fall, and we're expecting those guys to move into full production, paying us a 10 to 15% royalty from that. And we have room for as many as 8 other operators on the ground we already control. So it's something that we're going to be building over time, but we're pretty excited with how quickly it's come together for us so far.
Well, that's nice to hear that a tuna exploration company has already cash flow from a different business model. I have to outline, I'm a shareholder of Metallic Minerals for years, so I have a conflict of interest which I have to outline here. But now let's talk about a little bit about Group 10, Greg. You're also a chairman of the company, so what's behind there?
So this is our newest company in the group, the Metallic Group, Group 10 Metals. Similar to Metallic, it's focused in a safe jurisdiction, this time in Montana, USA, right next to the Stillwater Mine, which is the largest producer of platinum metals and the highest grade producer of platinum metals outside of South Africa or Russia. So it's a really unique position. And what we believe we've found there, we've acquired this position just in the last 6 months. We've been building on it. But we think we have the opportunity for a very large-scale deposit, perhaps similar to what Ivanhoe is developing in South Africa, that's not really been looked at and recognized before. Why do we think that? We've got an 18-kilometer-long soil anomaly of platinum, palladium, and gold that co-occurs with nickel and copper, up to 2 kilometers wide. This is a massive system. We just released the geophysics on this target. We've got 12 separate targets that are anywhere from 2 kilometers to 6 kilometers in length that have the signature of high sulfide concentration. So you put those 2 ingredients together, and based on the historic drill work that's been done on this property, focused on nickel, because they didn't assay for platinum and palladium at that point, we think we've got the makings for something that could be really very, very large in scale and that could be of interest to some of the very largest diversified producers.
I mean, that sounds like you have, again, the hand on a pretty substantial and big asset, which is a little bit your background too. And that's actually what you need nowadays to get excited by the majors. What about Stillwater, the Stillwater Mine? It's operated now by Sibanye Gold, and they have bought it from Stillwater?
That's right. They acquired it last year for $2.2 billion. They are looking to expand production on that mine, and I think with the larger multi-asset company that they are, they're going to be continuing to grow that asset, which is already the largest North American producer of those metals. So it's a great neighborhood. Our ground abuts right up against theirs. We control the remainder of the district in that most prospective lower part of the complex that's really surprisingly underexplored.
But how could you stake claims next to such a big player?
Really a good fortune of timing. The property was in part already acquired by a private party. They brought it to us because of my team's background in PGMs, our expertise, and we've assembled a team around that, and we've staked some of the other ground that our geological team identified was also prospective. And so that combination has allowed us to really put together this package with a new concept, looking at this from a large bulk mineable deposit rather than only the high grade, what we call reef type deposits. We still think there's opportunity for reef type deposits. In fact, there are drill intercepts that up to 10 meters of 10 grams per ton, but we think that these bulk mineable 20 to 50 meter wide zones really have the prospect of being very, very large scale, and the initial indications from historic drilling and the geophysics and the soil support that we could have something very large here.
And you will also start drilling that asset this year?
That's right. Our objective on both companies is to have quite an aggressive drill program. We're looking to spend about $2 million at Metallic on the silver project, which is a good-sized budget, probably double the drilling we did last year with all the success. And then at Group 10, we're probably looking at about $1.5 million budget on that one as well, including the first round of drilling, the kind of that proof of concept stage for Group 10 on this exciting platinum nickel play.
So two companies which are standout at PDAC 2018. You should have a deeper look at it. A lot of information on our website. Also in German, we translate the press releases so you can read through and follow the companies. You can talk to us, but those are two companies we really like. They have great assets and a great team. And it looks like with this year's drill program, they have good news flow. And that's exactly what we are looking for, because the discovery is actually driving a share price up. That's what our investors want to see. Thank you very much, Greg, for the nice interview, and all the best for you in 2018.
Thanks a lot. Good to see you again.
Yeah.